Welcome fathers who are looking to inspire their kids and become fearless. This is the Become a Fearless Father show and I'm your host, Klaas van Oosterhout. I'm a father of 2 boys, husband and entrepreneur. This show is created to teach you how to take control and enjoy the most difficult job you've ever faced, fatherhood. I'm going to keep it real and share real life experience. A heads up, there is no magic pill. You will have to put in the hours, sweat and tears to achieve victory. Are you ready to improve your health, wealth, relationships, knowledge and become the hero your family needs you to be? I know you are. So get your pen and paper ready and let's become fearless fathers together.
Alrighty, let's get the show on the road. Welcome everybody. I'd like to welcome to another live show. I think we're at number 29 at the moment already. And sometimes things just happen in a weird way or an amazing way, in this case, I would even say. And the person I have right now, Raymond, he reached out to me. We talked a little bit and we found out we are fellow Dutch Dadpreneurs. I mean, how closer can you get to one another, even though we live far away from each other? And we connected immediately and decided, hey, why not? Let's get online and do a live interview together and motivate, inspire other dadpreneurs around the world. So Raymond, thank you, first of all, for the way you connected with me. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much for inviting me here, Klaas. Super.
Awesome. So first of all, what I always start with, I want to know about you. I want to learn what is your background story and get to know you a little bit better, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. Perfect. How much time do we have? Well, my name is Raymond Gruijs. I'm from Amsterdam area, and you see them on the backside. It's my family. I got 4 children, 1 son, 3 girls, 24, 22, 19, and 15. And my beautiful wife. We married already for 27 years now.
Wow.
After we were how do you say that, acquainted for 1 week. We met 1 week and then we started living together, and now we are 27 years of marriage. So that's, I think, a real romance. It's perfect. And I've always been an entrepreneur. From my background is physical therapy. That's how I started. Long time ago, and from a little boy on, I always had to drive to help people, and make people better in what they want to achieve. And for first start was that with physical problems, back pain, injuries, and that kind of things. I did a lot in top sport, facilitating with top sport, like swimming and. How do you say that? The jumping from a platform in the water.
Diving. Yeah. Diving.
So that continues, and then I was really motivated by how top sporters planned their routine for the day, and how they were focused on achieve their goals and. Made everything possible to achieve that goal, and also take care of their own body and their own mind. And from there on, I duplicate that to companies. And I saw also on employers, and how is their work lifestyle, and how do they do that, and especially also how they communicate with the employer. And during the time, I've noticed that there was a lot of difference about the goals of the employer and the employee, and how the miscommunication was about that. And so I was in prevention. I trained people on in factories on how they used to use their back by lifting properly. Now, so all the things continue, and now 28 years later, I'm an educator. So I train coaches, and above all, I'm a marketeer. So I help coaches to fill their agenda with appointments by how do you say that? Onderscheiden. Dus I make themselves special to compare to other people, to show them and let clients get acquainted with them.
Exactly. Yeah, love it. Thank you. That's wonderful. I love when people just share their story and start at a certain beginning point, and that just gave me tons and tons of things to talk about, which means that everything I prepared is going to the garbage can, and we're going to go a completely different story, and I love that. That's one of the reasons why I stopped preparing myself like crazy. Just it didn't make the interview go natural, especially since the last time we spoke, it went such a flow, such a natural. I was like, I'm just going to write down a couple of things and that I want to talk about that I think is very valuable. And you already picked on that, so it's going to be absolutely amazing. Wow, where to start, man? Let's start off with this one, because you mentioned that you've been an entrepreneur your whole life. Your kids are older, so you've been through everything from being an entrepreneur, going into being a dadpreneur, from your kids as young until where they're at now. So I'm wondering, how was that transition for you? What kind of challenges did you come across?
To become an entrepreneur, or
no, to go from entrepreneur, because you mentioned you've been an entrepreneur your whole life.
Yeah.
However, of course, at a certain point, kids started coming up, started popping out.
Some kids, yes.
And that meant immediately you were, an entrepreneur dad.
Yep.
But I'm sure there was a transition there. I'm sure that came with new challenges. I'm just wondering, how was that transition for you from being an entrepreneur into now having to take care of your first child, and then your second, your third, and even your fourth?
Yeah, maybe that's. I never made a transition in that, and maybe that's helpful for the viewers. From the moment, I always put my family at the first place, always, and then become the company. So first place, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and all the things I do that for them, so we can have together a nice life. So that was a priority for me, very special, and so the daily routine in the house, and if they were small or they were older, it doesn't matter. The saying from little children, little problems, big children, big problems. Yes, that's when you have small children. Welcome. It will not become easier. It will become a little bit more difficult. Because the questions they ask, you have to pay more attention to that when they are young. But we always did together with my wife, and family first, then the company. And so I turned my daily routine around that. Further, what I always did was it's maybe old-fashioned, but I always be at home at dinner, always. No discussion. So priority 1, 6 o'clock, I'm at home for dinner. And so for me, it was not really a transition to combine entrepreneurship and being a father. It's the way around. First was father, and then I made the companies to earn the income we can live what we want to live. And of course, there are struggles and there are problems to solve. And of course, you have to be aware of that. You take them home. And that's our difficult times, of course. In all the 28 years, nothing was easy. There was always periods when it went okay. Sometimes it went down. How to do it. And maybe some viewers are aware of that when they come home from their job and they're not ready to be at home, because their mind is still on the job. And what I always do is when I'm a little bit stressed or if things to solve or other that, I watch to myself, or are you ready to go home? So before I go home, that's the main question I ask. And I have to be relaxed to make that transition to be the father.
Exactly.
Because when I open the front door, the guys at home, they see me as their father, not as the entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't give a shit about what happens on the office.
Exactly. That makes perfect sense. I like that. I really like that. What I picked up from this is, one, you have a 100% clarity on your priorities, what comes first, and great communication with your wife that she knows that as well. So you are in it together. So that's one that's absolutely perfect. And then you work from there. And I like that because that was one of my questions going to be is like, okay, so how do you do that then when you come home? Because you mentioned like you don't want to take those things home. That question, that would be perfect. Now I'm always home. So I'm going to rephrase that question a little bit for myself pretty soon, but I'm going to use that because I think for every single father, that's the trick, right? Sometimes we're home, but we're not really there, right? So I've been hearing that a lot. Being present when you are with your family should be top priority number one, because if not, then what's the point? Perfect, Raymond. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for that brilliant answer. Hey, sorry for the interruption. I know you're really enjoying the show. Just want to make sure if you're liking this information, please subscribe and press the like button. And also go visit becomeafearlessfather.com. You get the opportunity to share your biggest challenge at the moment as a father, and it gives me the opportunity to try and help you overcome this. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the show. So in that case, you also mentioned like, I want to help people, which is so important, right? As entrepreneurs, what we should focus on is making that impact in the world. I'm just wondering, is that something that you taught yourself, or how has that grown into where you are now, and how do you, maybe even more important, how do you express that and make sure, well, let's start with that. How do you express making sure that you help people?
Yeah, well, that's nice. For 4 years ago, I didn't know nothing about marketing, nothing.
Mm.
I built up the company always in the personal relationship. So I went to network events. I worked to golf clinics, and there met entrepreneurs and invested in the relation, and that where the clients come. And traveled about 50,000 kilometers a year, visit clients and work in relation. Till 4 years ago, I was searching for how to duplicate my knowledge with new colleagues, especially in the company I had then till 1 October last year. So it's really fresh that I sell that company. I will tell that later. I've sold that company. And I was, how can I scale my knowledge and educate new colleagues so they are on the same level our clients expect, because they expect my knowledge. There was a big gap every time again. And after 4 or 5 years, the employees left, they started a new job, and I can start over again with new employees. So that was a problem. And I was sitting on the table. It was 5th October, or 5th August, I never forget. I had surgery on my knee, and I was boring. Everybody was gone, and I was not able to walk. I had the crutches next to me, and I think, okay, what to do? So I was a little bit Googling, and there was I saw an advertising on a webinar. I never heard of a webinar. I didn't know what it was. So okay, let's do it, and that was the change for me. I learned there how to use the internet in connecting with new clients. So at that point, I didn't know nothing about scarcity and about how to build up a webinar and how to make people enthusiastic to buy your products. I never heard about it. I didn't understand the psychology of that. So you have 5 minutes before this offer is passed away. Fuck. So I walked to the closet to get the bank card, and I made a payment. And after that, I realized, hey, you walked. You were not allowed to walk because you had crutches. You were. So I was fully in, and that was the moment that changed my way of running my company and start using the internet and social media for my company. And from that moment on, I studied. I did all courses at Digital Marketer. I did courses at Creed Grants, and I only study. And and then I understand, and all my experience, that's maybe my advantage of so many years of entrepreneur, to apply the knowledge in a new way of running the business.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do just like you. Every day I'm on Facebook Live every day, 9 o'clock sharp. That's my rhythm every day.
Nice.
Instagram Live. I use my laptop. I have my iPhone behind, and that's Instagram Live. And the audio recorder is also running, and that's the podcast. So I
multitasking. Nice. I like that.
All the platforms.
Yeah.
Because I have to be efficient. My time is also scarce, so I have to use my the equipment. And then and I start learning advertising on Facebook.
Mm.
And now that's my way of connecting with people.
Mm.
And for me, as marketing is give people the ability to know you, to let you know.
Mm.
They decide if they want to start a relation, start a journey with you, and start to trust you, not you from you to them otherwise. So you have to give them the opportunity to meet you, and then at a certain point they trust you because of the advices and the tips, and you share with them every day. When I start Facebook Live every morning, is my mindset: how can I serve those people? How can I help them? So it's never a problem to have content for those broadcasts. It's always serving. Now and then, and B, consistency is very important. And and then use the technique. And when a broadcast is doing well, there's a lot of interaction. Then I make an advertisement of them to increase the visitors.
Nice. I like that.
I make a proposal. Make an offer.
Nice. I like that setup. And I want to roll into that a little bit more, because that's. I think maybe most, but definitely me, I'm struggling a little bit with that. I love to help. I help everybody. But in the end, I'm not making the sale. So I'm not making as much money as I would like to, because for some reason that's just not clicking yet for me. And I was wondering, what are kind of like the things that you've learned, or what are maybe I call the word secrets always sounds nice, right? What are your secrets to make the transition from you're helping somebody, but at the same time, they also have to know that, hey, it's my time also. So there's like an exchange of the value that you give for the money that you get from somebody.
Yep. I think that's the main struggle for a lot of entrepreneurs who start using the internet, but also offline. It's the same. When you make a written offer to send that to a company, it's the same. It's like a sales letter. It's the same.
Mm-hmm.
My main advice is focus on one thing. We want to sell most of the time too much.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think is because our knowledge is here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have made the journey already. And with that knowledge, we like to help the people. But we have to pick them up and take them with you. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, most of the time between your offer and the points the potential client is a gap. So most of the time it's too difficult. So to split it up in milestones and make it much more easier and much more simpler, and break up your offer, break up your program of helping, or your service of helping, break it up in a lot of steps.
Mm.
start offering step by step. And from there on, every step the people buys, they become a client. The moment they spend time with you by attending your shows, and the moment they spend money on you, from €1 or $1 off, doesn't matter, the big of the amount doesn't matter. The moment they spend €1, $1 to you, they are a client.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship changes. And then you have to. That's just like a marriage. When you are married, it starts. Then you have to deliver.
Exactly.
And so then you have to work on the relationship, which from that moment on, it's coming from an interested person into a client.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to help the client, and then the client is also at all the milestones he makes is constantly checking your consistency of delivering,
Mm-hmm.
constantly checking your consistency of trust. So when that is proved to him, he's feeling the trust, he's feeling the consistency, he's feeling that you deliver what you say. Trust is growing, and then they start open. Okay, now I want more, and now I want more, and now I want more, because you build on the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very important. You have to be patient, and you also have not to be too shy to make them an offer.
I like that.
But sometimes they expect you to make an offer, and that's also a great insight. People, potential clients who watch Facebook Live, who watch blogs, who watch videos, they are online. They know already that sometimes there will come an offer.
Mm-hmm.
So they expect you to give them an offer.
Exactly. I like that. That's very insightful. I was just wondering, because for me, what I've seen online is that there's two different camps, right? You got, from what I've seen from Russell Brunson, is where he starts at, like, you start at the low end, something small, and then you just build them up. But on the other hand, you have, I think it's Sam Owens, he starts directly saying, look, you got to start with high-end products, and so I'm just wondering, what's your perspective on that?
Well, I think it depends on a few things. One is your advertising budget.
Okay.
I think Sam is doing a great job, but he spends a lot of money on advertising. And he also is very specific in his target audience and his potential clients.
Mm.
So you can easily say you can sell €1 to 100 people, or €100 to one person.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a choice. But I think he makes it possible for him to offer high-end products because he invested on the opportunity for people to meet him.
Mm.
Nobody gives you €2,000 if you don't know him.
Mm.
So in his education, in his content delivering, in his consistency of delivering, he built up trust for a certain target audience. Not everybody will take that offer immediately. Not everybody.
Exactly.
So the value ladder that Russell is teaching, start from a low end to a middle end to a high end, is a more sustainable way of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And build easier on the consistency and the trust, and build up by experience the need of your clients make the products they want to have. Sometimes we prepare all the products in front, and we don't know yet if that's what the clients want. So learn by experience is an easier way to start, and start with some more low-end pricing. To get in contact with your clients, and clients like to help you. They like to help you because when you ask them, hey, was this product helpful? What did you win? What kind of results did you have? Can you advise me to improve some things? They will do that. They like to help you. They give you the feedback you ask for, and from that point on, you can improve your product. So both ways are possible. But I think the more consistent of the sustainable way is the value ladder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Like Frank Kern. Frank Kern is also, I follow Frank Kern. I did a year the inner circle with him.
Mm-hmm.
He has a membership, a continuing program of about $300 to $400 a month. Absolutely worth it. But he can offer that because he has a track record of many years and many results.
Exactly.
So he can say that. He can say, I make the results, and that's what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're new in your market, you don't have the track record yet.
Exactly.
So if you build on it.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I love that. I'm glad I asked you the question. That we can both say they're both very successful, and there's no doubt about that, of course. And I hope that people that make one choice or the other. I'm also like you, where you said, I have a mentor, and I was with him. I have a mentor as well, and he's also about the same Owens track, but it doesn't seem to work for me. So, and I love Russell, big fan of his work. So I like that low end, but I was just wondering what your philosophy was on that, and that's a perfect example. And what you mentioned is like you just have to know where you want to go, where you want to target on, and build that trust. So if you set up your funnel in such a way that you build the trust along the way and sell a high-end product, then that's just as good as long as you get the opportunity to build the trust, correct? Yeah, perfect. All right, excellent. So
maybe also to add on your what you said, it must feel good for yourself.
Mm.
Don't copy what other people do. Modify it in your own system.
Exactly.
Watch what others do, but don't copy. Because it's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has his own life. Everybody has his own background. Everybody has his own flying hours. How do you say that? Training hours, training skills, the education, time to spend on the company. For everybody different. So make a plan of your own and use the ingredients the famous guys give you, but make your own plan.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what I see a lot in the coaches I coach. How do you say it in English? Don't find out the steering wheel again.
Okay. Yeah.
Typical Dutch, sorry for that.
That's okay. That's perfectly fine.
Don't think you are new and have the best idea. Everything has sometimes been invested already.
Yeah, exactly. Don't invent something that already been invented. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there are some laws. There are some laws of marketing, and follow them. Don't change the law of marketing.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. So in regards to all your successes, you just mentioned one thing that's very important. You said like you learn from all those sports athletes, those professional athletes, like, how they've set their goals and how they were focused on getting their goals done. I think that's something that's very important for entrepreneurs as well. Can you maybe share one little trick on how they did that, or how you work with that? So other dadpreneurs can start taking action towards that and, you know, get closer to the goals that they have set?
Yeah, I split goals always in two things. One is a mission goal.
Okay.
That's the big idea. So, for example, in 2022, I like to have that one of the three employees don't feel work stress anymore. That's a mission goal. Or a mission goal can be I have two schools in Africa to give education to girls. It's a mission goal. Big things. And the daily goal of a year goal is how to achieve an amount, some kind of amount, or 100,000 euros or a million euros or whatever. But it's better to visualize what an amount means. So what can you do with 100,000 euros? How is your life looks like when you have 100,000 euros? So your brain needs that. It's kind of a placebo effect. You have to put in your brain what's already there.
I like that.
And you don't have it, you don't feel it already, but in your brain it's already there. And then your brain is start working to realize the thoughts. That's very important. But split it up in goals, realistic goals. Sometimes I hear entrepreneurs say, well, I want to make, I'm a starter and I want to make 20,000 euros a month. Yeah, good luck with it. But that's more kind of lottery. You have to be realistic. So make your goals 1,000, 3,000 euros a month. What have I to do to reach that goal? How do I plan my day? A daily routine. Also, that's very, very important to have a daily routine to achieve this goal. That's what I learned from the athletes. But my daily routine is I'm at the office here about 7:30, 7:45, so in the morning. And then I check my Facebook ads every day. That's my routine. Of coffee, of course. We start with coffee. And then I do that. Then I start preparing for Facebook Live. And then it's about 9:30. And then I make content. I do the writing. I make videos. That's my creativity time. But I block off everything. No email, no internet, nothing. So also when you work at home, like you said, I think it's important to create your own place.
Yeah.
When we do a Facebook Live sending, down on the stair, I'm the bottom of the office, at the top of the office. At the stairs is a red light, on air. That's a mental thing for me. I'm on air now, and for people who want to enter the office, it means, hey, you may not disturb him.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's, and then about 11:30, my creativity drops down a little bit, and then I do the conversations, and do the coach calls, and do the work meeting, and all the kind of things. So be productive, but in another way. And then I have lunch, and in the afternoon also have coach calls, and then in my system, everybody has his own rhythm, and also about 4 o'clock I start studying.
Okay.
So that's when I do every day about 2 hours of study. And that's quite boring. Every day is the same. It's quite boring. But that's the way to be productive. And also focus on one thing. So now I start advertising on a new book. I make a new book, and that's the only thing I do. Create a book, create buyers for the book. Nothing else. In my mind, I have a lot of ideas. I can do that, I can do that, and go there, make this, make that. No, one thing.
How do you make sure that you stay on that one thing? Because I think every single entrepreneur can relate to that our minds just go all over the place, and you're working on something, and just even one single word can just trigger the brain, and it just goes all over the place, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Well, write those ideas in a notebook and put it away.
I like that. Yeah, simple but very effective. And put it away.
It's inspiration that, do you say that? Encourage, improve, increase the one thing you are doing. Okay. I also have ideas. Yesterday evening, I was walking with the dog, and an idea came in for an email of a Facebook advertising text. And I write it down immediately.
Exactly.
But it's complementary to things I'm doing.
Yeah, I really like that. Just focus on that one thing and make sure that you set up your environment so you can actually do that. So what you mentioned, when you put the on-air light so everybody knows that you're on air, you're focusing on that one thing. You got your notebook there, so if you're focusing on that one thing, but the brain's going to go all over the place, you can write that off I'll get that out of your system real quick on a notebook. I like that. I'm definitely going to implement that today because I'm a little struggling with that, staying focused on one thing. So that's it. I'm going to check real quick what time it is because, okay, we got plenty of time. Awesome. So in regards to that, right, you mentioned daily routine. I'm just wondering, because there's also different philosophies in that regards. How do you plan your next day, and when do you plan to know exactly what you're going to focus on for the day?
Well, the rhythm of the day is what I told you. So that's every day for me the same.
Okay. But I'm assuming you plan what that thing is that you're going to focus on, right?
So I focus on, I have to create that video or that email of ad text. That's it.
Exactly. But do you, for example, say, okay, early in the morning, or is it just because your routine is so routine that you don't even have to plan anything, just immediately go into it? Well, that's nice.
For me, is that it's a sort from second nature. Yeah.
I hear you. All right, cool.
It's kind of autistic, but for me, it works.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, and that's a different approach. Like me, for example, I plan my next day at night. So I'm completely done. I know where I finished. I know what I still have to do. So to make sure that I don't have to think about that in the morning, so you forget what you actually did the day before, I plan it at night, and then I even write it out. Like, I got my stuff right here. I write it out to make sure that I do it. See? Live interview 9:30. That's you. Right? So, because if not, I noticed that for me, then I just go all over the place in the morning, and I start immediately go on Facebook, and that's just a trap I like to stay away from as far as possible, right? So,
especially also, try to avoid, how do you say, distraction from your phone, from email. I don't watch my email. It's out. Otherwise, it blips up in your screen. No, email is out. Because when it lights up, your brain wants to know what are you doing.
Exactly.
Not the time you have to spend to answer that email, but I call it always the transition in your mind. The brain has to make a transition to take care of that action and then make the transition back. And that takes energy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's something I need to work on. That's a great tip. I need to get back to that.
The priority quadrant of Stephen Covey is very helpful in that. Quadrant 1 is his life threatening? the things I have to do, or the questions come on my path. Is it life threatening? No, nothing is life threatening. What's priority one? If something happens with the children, that's priority one. I drop down everything. No discussion. The main things you have to order in priority two. It has to be done, but it has not to be done now. There are moments, on other moments, you can do that. Priority three is when it's urgent for other people. Not for you, but for the other one. And then you have to, stripe off what's important for me and urgent for them. But be selfish on that.
Okay.
It's your energy. It is your time. So you make the decision, and it can be so much urgent for them. Yeah, that's their problem, not yours.
How easy is that to make that decision? Because I kind of have the feeling we're a lot similar in that case, that we really like to help people. So if something is for somebody very urgent, you know that they need your help.
Yeah. How
do you then make sure that you don't cut yourself in the finger, so to say?
Yeah, but when it's a potential client and you don't respond quickly enough for them, in their opinion, maybe it's not the ideal client for you.
I like that. Yeah, that gives me things to think about. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you have to just keep thinking about, what you can do, what's with you, and how your perfect client would respond, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I absolutely like that.
So what is their life-threatening situation? Nothing. It can be helped, but it can also be 1 hour, 2 hours afterwards. And another way is to systemize that or automate that. So I give them access to my agenda by a tool called Calendly. So they know, okay, I want to talk to Raymond about something. Okay, I put an appointment in the agenda by Calendly. And the only times I are available for that kind of calls is in the afternoon. Because in the morning I'm working on content.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yesterday I called a company. He wants to come to the office. Perfect. Monday morning, 11 o'clock. No. Yeah, but I'm only available in the morning. Yeah, sorry, that's your problem. I'm only available in the afternoon.
Exactly. I get that. So it has to involve around your daily routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one of the problems that I have is that
and make prioritize everything and be very productive in what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you put your productivity, which means that you can make more impact, deliver more content and more value for your audience, above making sure that you have the flexibility to just go with what one person needs at that time. Like, that's one of my issues, is that I want to please everybody. So if somebody says like, "Oh, can we do this?" then I say, "Yeah, go ahead. That's fine." Unless it involves my kids, then it's like no. At least I got that line.
And for me, but it's personal. What also a line for me is my energy, my health. Sometimes we work hard. That's okay. We do more than we maybe should do, so it's okay. The goals are there, and when I feel that my body is responding, from hey, you're approaching a line, then I've done it always. I drop everything, regardless of how important it is.
I see.
And I know my body. Then I know I have to recover for 2-3 days. And then I do completely nothing. I skip appointments, despite the importance. because when I'm not able to deliver, the appointment is also not worth it.
Exactly.
And sometimes happens. You have to be. That's no problem. Don't be angry about it that your body is not serving you. No, you used your body, and now your body is saying, "Hey, dear friend, take care of me."
Yeah, exactly. So you really have to listen. So I gotta ask, because you have so much clarity on what's important to you and how you prioritize all that. Does that come from what you just mentioned, Stephen Covey's quadrant, or is that something that you've developed over time? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think that's what developed over time by studying, by try to run the business and on several leverages and all in the time adapting on the questions from clients and the changing of how the client's behavior is also natuurlijk. You have to adapt to that always.
Mm-hmm.
That's my way of making a lot of possible, and I find out that that's for me working.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah,
I see. So in that regards, because you say doing a lot of studying, what would be like 3 top books that you would recommend other dadpreneurs to read?
I think mindset is something very important.
Okay.
One is now, of course, the books of Russell are very important. Books of Frank Kern, I think I read a lot. I reread them also a lot. The Bruce Lipton. What's for the name? Bruce Lipton is a stem cell scientist.
Okay.
Completely different. The book is called The Biology of Belief. And the biology of belief is what the impact is of your mindset on your hormones and on your cells.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the energy is coming from. And that is where the thinking patterns we have, we picked up during our growth in life,
Mm-hmm.
where we arrive now and then. So, what is the effect of your thinking patterns? And can you achieve with those patterns what you like to achieve?
Mm-hmm.
Bring those patterns you further, or holding those patterns you back.
Yeah.
So that's also very important. So this is, for me, it's always a combination between marketing stuff, copywriting. That also a lot of books on copywriting. I think that's in modern time unbelievable important to write the copy in the right way.
Exactly. What's your top copywriting book?
Dana Derrick's.
Okay.
And here.
Copywriting for Dummies?
No. Oh yeah, Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy is also very important.
Dan Kennedy.
Yeah, he wrote many more books on that.
Nice. Make sure to check that out. I mean, I can't mention it enough to all fathers watching this. Reading is one of the game changers for me. I never used to read. I keep mentioning as well, I keep astonishing my parents with the amounts of books that I bought in the last year, which is more than I bought in my whole life, I think, of 40 years now. So I really appreciate you taking the time to explain that a little bit. I want to use the last 15 minutes to talk about something not related to entrepreneurship, but something that is important for us in life, man. You mentioned 27 years of marriage, which is just absolutely fantastic. The biggest thing that I find fantastic is that when you mention, and I hope people picked up on that, when you mentioned 27 years of marriage, it wasn't like 27 years of marriage. No, it was 27 years of marriage. Like there was a energy and a happiness out of that I picked up immediately. So I just want to know, Please, what are your secrets? And just, give us some golden nuggets that, I mean, all fathers, we hear it a lot. There's so many divorces going on. I think 50% at the moment we're at. That's huge. What's your take on making a marriage work? And just, let's start with reaching 10 years.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we go to another show. How keep your relationship alive?
There you go.
Above all, I think I have to give the credits to my wife, of course.
Smart.
No, I mean it. I have a fantastic wife, and despite the entrepreneurship of me, I'm doing everything, and as an entrepreneur, you think different. So it's really difficult for your partner to get in your brain. That's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
That's really impossible. So don't try that. Because they don't care a shit about what you're thinking in your entrepreneur role. They don't care. So don't expect that they pay attention to you on your role as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's important, a few things. We can talk a lot about this. It's very interesting.
Sure.
Remember always that and it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. It doesn't matter in kind of relationship. That's no problem at all. The one who is taking care of the children is the one who's taking care of the. There has to be peace. There has to be peace in the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Like a kettle of wolves, puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Mother is taking care. It has to be quiet there. There has to be peace.
Okay.
And there has to be certainty on enough income and enough food. That main, basic, simple. And the other partner, man or wife, doesn't matter. Just what role you take is for the hunting. It's maybe a little bit awkward, but that's what, and an entrepreneur is a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, my wife doesn't care how I hunt. As long as at home it's okay, it's quiet, the children are okay, everything fits well. I didn't mention, but my wife is also an entrepreneur. We did the business always together. So, so for her, I always say she has two jobs. We do it together, but children are always asked first to mama.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. Mom! Second, we pay a lot of attention to each other.
Okay.
So we go out once in a few weeks together. Go at dinner, go to a musical, go whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Something simple, something greater. We try to go 1 or 2 weekends a year to go to a city together. So that's important. And let both do also their own things.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but that's not from my own experience, not at all. But I think what I see, so a lot of some people are jealous or wondering, what are you doing? Yeah, trust each other. What's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
And keep talking, Keep talking. Also, that's very important. Never go sleep when the argue is going on,
Yeah.
You know that? You lie on bed and there's a kind of silence, and you turn your back to each other and then you're awake, but no, don't start talking. No, you're the one who's wrong. No, don't start talking. You know that?
Yeah. Perfect.
So we know that fights too much. It never takes longer than 2-3 minutes, and then make a joke and talk.
Exactly.
And the most difficult is when you disagree about something, that the situation makes it not possible to talk because the children are there. And then it keeps staying there. It's not out of the world. So find a way. Hey, go upstairs. We have to talk. What do you mean?
Exactly. Try to get it out as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Make a joke. And maybe it's as soft as possible, but I mean it really. Keep saying I love you. Maybe it's soft, I don't know, but I don't care. I love my wife very, very much, and I tell her that many times a day. Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
yeah.
It's very important. Absolutely.
Me, it's not natural, so I don't know if that's an insight for visitors, but yeah.
No,
that's important.
I like that. Those were some incredible tips that I hope. Man, I keep forgetting at the beginning to tell people, please, when you join us, make sure that you have pen and paper so you can write. Because if you like me, right, you take so many golden nuggets out of one live interview that it will help you. And then only thing I need to say at the end is, please take at least one thing that you're like, wow, this will have the biggest impact right now in my life, and go with it and take action, right? Because so many times we listen to podcasts, we watch interviews or webinars, and we're just like, oh, this is great. But at the same time, we don't take the action. It's just like, wow, I need to do that too. And then nothing happens. So I really appreciate it. My biggest takeaway was those tips in regards to, staying connected and communicating with your wife at all times. And especially, I have to work on that, is do something with my wife. At the moment, we don't. It's just all about the kids and all about my business. And she works as well for a company. And it makes it hard. But that's one of the things that I'm glad you reminded me of. So another thing, and that'll be the last thing before.
Yeah, I can add something to that. What I heard all the times, I appreciate people do say that they love we do that in our family. When the children were small, we did one Sunday in a month in the afternoon. When they were small, we always we were 6. We had 4 children. We were 6. No friends, only 6 of us on the table, and then we were painting or creating or whatever, or watch a movie with chips and drinks. And now they're older, but we have every Friday around 5 o'clock, 5:30. Sometimes a little bit difficult because with their study and their work as they're getting older, but also we have a new dimension on that. But every Friday, 5:30, we are at home, and then we drink now wine, no lemonade anymore, wine and beer, every Friday.
Nice.
And 3 of the 4 have also a boy or a girl, so we are with 9 now.
Wow.
And we add a new activity once a month on a Sunday. We eat together. And every couple makes a part of the meal.
Oh, nice. I like that.
The starter, of the dinner, of the after. Also in the agenda. Every month, that Sunday, everybody is with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we sit around the big table. We have a big table in the room. And then that's it. Be together. That for us is be together enough.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go out for expensive or luxury things. Be together. I hope our kids take that over. Be together is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And enough is unbelievable important.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I love that. Thanks. I appreciate you adding that. That's a great tip as well. So the last thing I want to ask you is, every single picture I saw, and I might not have seen all of them, but I saw quite a few on your Facebook page. and throughout our whole conversation, and even the picture in the back, you always have the biggest smile, and I just want to know, just share a little bit, like how, what's the secret there? What's your tip for people to just,
it's so fantastic to do this. It's great. It's fun. Talk about life, talk about issues, sharing things, helping people. That's great. So I do what I most like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And yesterday I learned also a nice pronation. You said, I don't have problems. I always have solutions. No, I found another one. He said, no, we don't talk about solutions. We talk about situations.
Okay.
So we don't have problems, we have situations. Okay. How can we approach the situation? And then.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. I like to add on that the book that I just read, it was mentioning that there's no challenge or obstacles. It's just a plot twist.
Yeah,
So
okay. Yeah.
I like that one too. So I'm going to use that one with you as well. Great. Raymond, I really appreciate
It's who I am. It's not a show. It's who I am. I always.
Yeah, it's great, Raymond, because that's one of the things that's mentioned in the book. It's like there's not enough, and they call it Mary Poppins's in the world. So the people that shine and have an impact and affectuous, I don't know, energy or something that affects everybody else. And we need more people like you that have that, because it's so important. And I hope people pick up on that and try to step up their game. Be infected by your smile, your openness, and do the same, not the same, but, model it like we talked about earlier, right? Don't copy somebody, do exactly the same, because you lose your authenticity. But model somebody and then put it in your own way, but be your own Mary Poppins. I love
That's a great one. I didn't hear it. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
So I love that. Thanks for that. So I know for a fact, man, if there's dadpreneurs out there that want to connect with you, have more questions for you, because from what I've learned in this hour is that you have way more answers than I can ask questions.
Thank you. Yeah.
How can we connect with you? How can we make sure that we learn more about you?
Well, the most easy thing is a Facebook page, I think. My name, Raymond Gruijs. And there I'm every day on live, and also my website, raymondgruijs.nl. But I think Facebook is the most easiest way, and there is language also not a problem. English or Dutch, doesn't matter.
Exactly. Excellent. Because your website is in English, or is it just in Dutch?
Yeah, it's still in Dutch, but I think that's also a kind of planning thing. I start up now with a new book, and it's working. So I plan to try to translate that and start a funnel in English.
In English as well. Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll make sure that for the people that watch this in the replay, we'll have the links underneath so you can connect with Raymond. Again, thank you so much for being online and connecting with me. I had a blast. I learned even more. It's insane. I'm going to be busy for a whole year trying to implement all your stuff. But so thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Klaas, for this show. Thank you very much. And all the best with your show and with your program.
I appreciate it, man. All right. So everybody else, I hope you enjoyed it. And we will see each other soon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Are you still meeting up with your friends now that you're a father? Kids making you stress out. You got no time for yourself to work out, read, or relax. Can you still remember the time you were hanging out with your friends, feeling energetic, happy, and confident? Spending time together and talking about your life and your crazy dreams. You're feeling alone now, don't you? No one to share your challenges with, and you're just running around from one storm into the next. Well, it's time to change this now. Join me and the Brotherhood of Fearless Fathers to speak on a weekly basis with like-minded dads to crush your challenges, face your fears with determination, be held accountable, and regain control of your life. If you want to become the hero your family needs you to be, then go to becomeafearlessfather.com/brotherhood. I'm looking forward to seeing you on one of our next calls.